and he's joined us on the line to help us appreciate really what his concerns are. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. This is a very serious claim you are making, and also making a very bold, petition to the World Bank to launch investigations into this particular contract. Tell us the details of this, sir.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening. Certainly, these are serious matters. We are talking about huge sums of money, no value for money for the Ghanaian people. And remember that all of these quantum of money are loans. None of them is a grant. So let me take you through a quick background. For some time now, I've been looking into the activities of a Nigerian cabal, which is led by a gentleman called Philip Olaya. The same guys behind Kelny GVG, the same guys behind Smart Infraco. Some time ago, you remember, I exposed a smart workplace deal, which at the time I exposed, they did not go through procurement approval. They later on went for procurement ratification. It doesn't take away the fact that it didn't go through due process. The work was not also properly executed. If you read the COVID-19 Auditor General's report, Smart Infraco have been indicted for not paying their taxes. They owe us about 1.75 million Ghana cedis in taxes, and that has been their modus operandi. Very, very low regard, or none at all, for our laws and due process. Then now, I have intercepted documents that another company they have created, hurriedly incorporated, called Ascent Digital Solutions Limited, purports to have won a $48 million contract under the Rural Telephony Project. And they have used that $48 million contract they say they have won to win another contract from the World Bank, which is valued at $49.5 million. Now, I'll come to the World Bank in a minute. Let's spend some time on this $48 million contract. Now, the background of this Rural Telephony Project is that if you look at the HANZA, the official report of Parliament, on the 31st of March 2020, the House approved a commercial agreement. Now, the commercial agreement Parliament approved was very specific on the contractors to execute this $155 million rural telephony project. Two contractors, they are Huawei and then another Chinese company known as CNTIC. That is the approval that the House granted. And those who are conversant with the quality grain case and the CDB precedent, the CDB loan precedent, the rule is that when Parliament has approved a matter, that is what must be implemented. If you are going to carry out any variation, you have to come back to Parliament. If you do not, it is illegal. You have engaged in illegal conduct. And as was well established in the quality grain case, you have yourself to blame when the law catches up with you. So far as Parliament is concerned, we have been expecting all along that it is Huawei and CNTIC, which are the two companies executing the rural telephony project. Then I intercept these documents, which reveal that contrary to the parliamentary approval, apparently, this same Nigerian cabal has, as usual, found their way in there, same tactics, same modus operandi, arm twisting, and they are the ones executing this project, $48 million. They claim is the award they have been given. Then what is also interesting and quite worrying is that there is really no trace at the PPA. I did raise a right to information request with the Public Procurement Authority, and the Public Procurement Authority responded that there is absolutely no record at all of they granting approval to Ascent Digital Solutions Limited to execute this $48 million contract. Now, what is revealing is that Ascent Digital is using this $48 million rural telephony project to give themselves track record, give themselves gravitas, competence, and that is what they have used to enter into a JV under shady circumstances. I'll come to that in a minute. To now win this $49.5 million contract. They told the World Bank that they have executed this $48 million rural telephony project, and based on that, they have the track record. And interestingly, whilst the minister is putting out tweets that she knows nothing about this Ascent Digital contract and daring me to put out the documents I have since put out incontrovertible, unimpeachable documents from the minister's own ministry, agencies under her ministry. I put out the GIFEC letter signed by the administrator, which is really an attestation certificate confirming that there is a proof of contract between GIFEC and Ascent. And this was contained in the tender documents submitted for the World Bank $49.5 million contract. So who is misleading the public? Who is telling lies? Is it the minister or is it the administrator of GIFEC? Now, you have a situation where GIFEC has now put out a statement saying that they do not recall. The most irresponsible and reckless statement I've ever seen from any public institution, where they say that the proof of contract document which I have put out, the administrator does not recall signing it. I mean, what does that mean? You're a corporate institution. You check your records. Either you don't have the document, you never signed it, or you did. You can't say that you don't recall. Meanwhile, you have made categorical statements to the World Bank, and based on that, you have just won this year a $49.5 million contract for this same Nigerian cabal, which has totally taken over the communication space. They're doing whatever they want. They think that the country belongs to them. And I wonder, which Ghanaian really can go to Nigeria and disregard our laws, just, right, rough, totally trample upon all the laws of Nigeria and get away with it. And that is what we are seeing here. And you see, internal memos, I am reviewing tons and tons of them. It's clear that this whole $49.5 million World Bank e-Transform project was secured under very dubious circumstances. First of all, when government took over Airtel Tigo, the president ought to have appointed a board. There is no board. The Minister of Communications has arrogated to herself a board, and Salom, you cannot have a one-member board. It is not allowed under the laws of our country. The Companies Act is very clear, and nobody has appointed her as a board. And the sheer conflict of interest is mind-boggling, where this is the same person acting as a board, clearly an illegal board, who approves a JV, and I have all of those internal memos, tells Airtel Tigo to go work with Ascent to secure this deal from the World Bank, and is the same person approving the contract. I mean, the recklessness is incredible, absolutely unbelievable. So when you go through all of what has happened, and you see there is the tragic case of a chief finance officer at Airtel who was raising the alarm internally, telling them to stop what they are doing. That look, there's going to be the day of accountability, and people, are going to face the music. Guess what? The guy is removed from the procurement committee And only last week, he's dismissed. I mean, totally, taken out of the place because he is insisting that the right thing be done. So this is a clear case of insider dealing, clear case of misrepresentation, clear case of violation of our laws, right from the PPA to even our laws on parliamentary approvals and all of that. And that is why I have now petitioned the World Bank, Ms. Maria C. Malo, a senior investigator who is vice president in charge of integrity in Washington. I've also copied the Ghana World Bank office to activate their anti-corruption. You know that if you read page 10 of the e-Transform contract, they have stated clearly in the contract that if they discover that there has been any unethical conduct, any insider dealing, any conflict of interest, they will launch investigations and the contract could be cancelled. So I'm activating that clause and requesting that the World Bank formally launch investigations into all of these naked, irregularities and infractions that have happened.
Very well. So just so we are clear, so there was an original $155 million contract approved by Parliament to be executed by Huawei and CNTIC. Is that correct? And
Yes.
so that contract, some way, somehow, you claim, found its way to ADSL, that is the Ascent Digital Solutions Limited, without any proper processes. Is that correct?
Yes, no parliamentary approval. And the minister did not come back to Parliament to vary the commercial agreement we have approved.
But do you have any explanation as to, why this $155 million project to be executed by Huawei and CNTIC, have had to be varied and given to ADSL, at the tune of given to ADSL to execute at $48 million?
Absolutely no explanation at all. All we see are people saying they don't recall that they have signed documents. Others have decided to just launch personal attacks at me. That's all we see. They are not speaking to the issues, to the facts that we are presenting.
But the stage of this project, this $48 million project now being executed by ADSL. At what stage is this project? Are we done with executing it, or we are in the process of executing it, or we are yet to start?
Well, according to the documents I'm reviewing, if you look at the GIFEC proof of contract certificate, they say that Ascent is still executing it. They'll be executing it all year, that they started in February 2020, and they'll continue to execute it to the end of this year. Then I see also from the other documents I'm reviewing, the tender documents, where Ascent is also claiming that so far they have delivered 506 sites and about 250 have been commissioned. And so one gets the impression from the documents and the review that Ascent is still executing it. So it's an active contract.
But if the World Bank comes in now, investigates and finds that there's a problem, then it means we lose out on this entirely. People may say that this may not be, I don't want to use the word patriotic, but if there is an issue, is there not a way we could deal with this, get it resolved, and still maintain the project or keep the project, rather than getting to the World Bank? If they find something wrong, it means we lose everything entirely.
I am glad you asked this question, and let me humbly tell the Ghanaian people that it will be in our interest to lose this money than for this money to go to this Nigerian cabal who have a long track record of not even getting the job done. Look, these monies are loans. Let's be clear. They are not grants. It's not free money. So you and I are going to pay. So whereas others are using all kinds of subterfuge, underhand dealings, insider dealings, conflict of interest, and they have this unholy alliance they are abusing to virtually grab all the juicy contracts in that space, we are going to pay for it. Whilst they smile all the way to the bank, you and I will have to pay for this with interest because they are loans. It's not free money. So isn't it better that we deny the cabal the money for them to take to Nigeria or their Grenada or the other Cayman Islands, the places that when I track, they like to go and play? Is it not better so that we save money and we don't have to really have to pay back? Look at the state of this economy. We've been shut out of the capital market. We are now in a distress situation. Should we be accumulating more debt when there's no value for money, no PPA approval, our laws are being trampled upon, and you have these, shadowy characters who don't even want to step forward and be accountable? If you look at the corporation documents that I have been analyzing, so he is, behind the scenes, beneficial owner, and then others are fronting. They create the impression that it's a Ghanaian entity, but really it's not. You have another Nigerian, Angela Onyoka, who is running day to day in the scheme of things. I mean, it's a typical, Ponzi operation, and we cannot allow this cabal to continue to milk us dry. And then we say that in the name of patriotism. I don't think that is patriotism. That is really selling your country cheap. That is allowing others to take you for granted, allowing other nationals to come and rape you. I mean, this is a country that stood up against imperialism, that stood up against slave raiders, against colonialists. We are not going to sit down and allow, a new form under a new guise, to manifest. We are not going to accept that.
I see. I mean, so this is an activity which, from your investigations, appear quite fraudulent and shady, being overseen by a minister of state. Fortunately, this is a minister of state, and fortunately, you are in parliament. Have you used the parliamentary process to get her to answer some of these critical questions, to the people of Ghana, by way of accounting to the people what happened to the originally approved Huawei CNTIC contract? How come that was varied to this ADSL contract? To answer all these questions, have we done that yet?
So it's important for us to recognize that the parliamentary processes are quite wide and varying. So being a member of parliament, it gives you some leverage to also commandeer documents, to listen to whistleblowers, to gather evidence. We are doing that quite well. Then being a member of parliament does not also preclude you from activating other sources in terms of the accountability framework. So this petition to the World Bank, when a member of parliament sends out a petition of this nature, it's taken a bit more seriously, and it does help. Remember that it's just the first leg. There are many other actions that are going to follow, even with the conflict of interest aspect. Remember that the Supreme Court held in my case against Jacob Echebilamte that for conflict of interest, the arena is scratched. So that is also under consideration. Then we are going to at some point settle in for other aspects that you may have to rely on a probe by the House. Remember that this petition, the Right Honourable Speaker has been copied. The Minority Leader has also been copied. So they are being fully briefed. They are being apprised as the matters unfold. At a point, we will need to have a full-scale parliamentary inquiry into this matter and into the whole gamut of activities, the state capture and the hijack by this Nigerian cabal. We are coming for them. Their days are numbered. We will get them. But it's step by step. And I can assure you that we intend to fully exhaust all the parliamentary opportunities that fortunately, the 1992 Constitution gives us.
Will these options also include getting the special prosecutor involved, since some of the allegations, include procurement breaches?
Yes, we are exploring that as well. We are exploring that, and the whistleblowers we are working with also have some other actions which they will also be carrying out. We have encouraged them. We have secured lawyers for them to pursue some of those aspects. So it's an unfolding matter, and there are going to be many more angles to this, I can assure you.
Very well. Thank you so much, the Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, Member of Parliament for North Tongu.